Welcome to Inside the Doctor's Lounge, where we showcase popular topics from our online communities of over 200,000 physicians, focusing in on those that we believe are important for the future of healthcare and the sustainability of the clinician workforce. I'm your host, Dr. Nisha Mehta, founder of Physician Side Gigs. Whether you're looking to diversify income streams, or curious about entrepreneurship or health innovation, trying to learn all the things that somebody probably should have taught you in medical school, or simply want to understand healthcare from the perspective of physicians, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the Inside the Doctor's Lounge podcast by Physician Side Gigs. I'm really glad and grateful that you're here. About 10 years ago, I started the Physician Side Gigs Facebook group as part of my own journey to help create the life in medicine that I wanted. It was meant to be a way to get feedback from my colleagues as I was exploring writing and speaking gigs that I was being offered, to learn about the business side of having a side gig, and really to network with others who were also exploring a different approach to their careers in medicine. Over the past decade, what started as a small online space has grown into a much bigger movement. We've now got over 220,000 verified physician members in our communities, or about a fifth of the US population. And if you think about how many football stadiums our members would fill up, you see that we have this great collective brain trust of experiences built over many years of practicing medicine and navigating the healthcare system. And with that, we're able to really move past just discussing side gigs to really supporting each other as we navigate all the things: careers, finances, burnout, entrepreneurship, challenging cases, physician life, really just the realities of practicing medicine in an increasingly challenging healthcare landscape. In other words, we've turned it into a full-out doctor's lounge that's, virtual, where you can get access to your colleagues 24/7. Along the way, the cool part about that is that I've also been able to have the privilege of having countless conversations with physicians about their lives in medicine, their entrepreneurial pursuits, and their goals. Alongside these conversations, I've also been able to have conversations with others in the healthcare space about what physicians are thinking about and bringing physician perspectives into what they're doing. All of those conversations have inspired me in so many ways. They've led to building out resources for physicians, opportunities for advocacy, opportunities to better improve the health innovation and health tech space, and the ability to create lots of educational content for all the things that I wish that somebody would have taught me while I was in medical school. So many of our colleagues and our partners are building incredible businesses, finding creative outlets, negotiating for what they deserve, reshaping their professional identities in ways that give them more autonomy, more joy, and more control over the future, and in the process, improving healthcare. This podcast is intended to be a continuation of those conversations. So many of you have asked for a format by which you can listen to our educational content, either when you're driving to work or when you're working out or when you're cooking. And we hope this will give you the ability to consume some of that content by that modality, but we're also hoping that we can dive deeper into topics than we can when we just comment on an online forum or when we publish a website article, but have word limitations. So I'm really hoping that this format will give us an ability to dig deep into the how, the why, the most frequently asked questions that we have in the communities in relation to some of these topics, and really be able to get the perspective out about a more holistic 30,000-foot view of a lot of these conversations after years of observing these conversations. Unlike our physician communities and many of our events, which are closed to physicians only, you don't have to be a physician to listen to this podcast. I'm a big believer in taking these conversations outside of the physician echo chambers so that others can understand what the physician struggles are, what their perspectives are, where they think that things should be changing in medicine, so that we can reform the system, we can approach health innovation in more impactful ways, and we can build movements amongst clinicians and patients. So for those of you who are listening and who are saying, I'm not a physician, we're really glad to have you. We want you to see some insights into what physicians these days are thinking about in regards to their careers, in regards to innovation, and in regards to improving healthcare. The plan is that each week we'll dive into some of the most popular topics on the groups by bringing in physicians or others in the healthcare space to offer expert perspectives. These could be startup founders, they could be CMOs of big companies, they could be physicians that have really cool side gigs, or they could be colleagues of ours whose voices or experiences that we want to highlight because their stories speak to something we know that many physicians are thinking about. We hope that these conversations are then in turn going to spur larger conversations that will move the needle and help others to take action, whether it's to build out that side gig or that health tech business, to get involved in advocacy, to start a private practice, to bring new tools to your existing practice, or to learn about something that's different and exciting and empower you to take some next steps. That's what we're trying to do here. Yes, it's a hodgepodge, just like many of the conversations that you may have heard in our communities or that you might hear in a physician lounge that's physical often are. But the ultimate goal, as with everything that we do in our communities, is impact. I want to help physicians address some of the challenges that they're facing in regards to burnout, in regards to career longevity. We want to help physicians take steps into entrepreneurship to improve healthcare from the 30,000-foot view to better serve clinicians and patients. And we want to shed light onto all those things that we all wish that we could talk about more openly and that we do talk about regularly within our communities. So whether those are advocacy topics, whether those are topics that relate to just difficulties that we're seeing in this space and where we think things need to be better, we want those conversations to be highlighted. We also want this podcast to be action-oriented. So we're going to try to break down complex topics into relatable stories while also providing practical steps forward, giving you lessons learned, giving you things that we wish that we would have done differently, giving you inspiration. My hope is that it really feels like you're sitting down with colleagues or others in healthcare at a casual conversation at the dinner table, and they are listening to your needs. You're going to feel like they get you. They've been where you are. They aren't afraid to ask the hard questions. And they genuinely believe in changing the system for the better and making healthcare careers more sustainable. And you get to sort of benefit from the expertise that they have and the experiences that they've had as you get to reflect those on your own life and what you'd like to do differently. So whether you're here because you're curious, because you're tired, because you're fired up, or just because you want to explore what's possible beyond a traditional career in medicine, I'm really glad that you're with us. Welcome to the Inside the Doctors podcast by Physician Side Gigs. We can't wait to get started.